Namaste, Vanakkam. In this Peripuranam series, today we are going to see two more Shiva Bhaktas Nayanars. I will talk about Yenadi Nada Nayanar as the first one. Yenadi Nadan Andran Adiyarkum Adiyen. Those were the words of Sri Sundaramurthy Swamigal. And as we all know, we all have 6 enemies with us. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Though the first 5, there we can do some prayashchitas or atonement and then we can get rid of or we can reduce that. But the last one, the arrangement of the 6 enemies are in that order. The last one happens to be the Matsarya, which is called the jealousy, and as we say, Asuya in Sanskritam. That Matsarya, Asuya, jealousy has no remedy in anywhere in the world. So that is the cruelest or the sinful emotion, we can say, bhava or emotion a person has. So that this story of this great Nayanar is initiated by that Asuya or jealousy. So let's go into the story now. The Chola Empire again. There was a small city or a village, we can say, Yeyinanur it was called. This Yeyinanur, even now it is existing near the temple city called Kumbakonam. It is in the southeast part of Kumbakonam, and now it is called Yenanallur in this present day. And it had all wonderful fields, pleasure gardens, and mango groves, where everything was really blissful and rich in lush vegetation. In that city of Yenanallur, there lived a Nayanar called Yenadi Nadar. He was born in a family called Eeder. They are the people who give training to the soldiers of the armies of the king. They prepare the like a javelin and other what we call the warfare instruments or weapons, and then they give the training to the soldiers who wanted to recruit themselves in the army of the king. So that was the occupation of Yenadinadar also, and he trained people, and whatever the dakshina or the courteous honorarium, whatever the people give, he will take that, and of course that was again spent on the devotees of Lord Shiva. He will have for his family, and then at least a portion of it he will always spend for the devotees of Shiva. And whatever problem they have, he will try to solve them in his own capacity, and when they become happy, the devotees of Shiva become happy, getting rid of their problems, he feels immensely happy that he could be of some instrument, a small instrument to help them. This is what his aim was, to serve the devotees of Lord Shiva. In the same family, there was another person, Atisura, his name was, and he was also engaged in the same occupation like Yenadinadar, to train the soldiers. And his attitude was, beyond me, there is no one comparable to me to train or to fight in the war. To train the people, I am the best. To fight in the war, I am the best. So that thought has gone to his head. So he became very arrogant and proud of those two. The moment he gets that, the thought, aham, Ahamkara was puffing up in his head. Both these people, Yenadinadar and Atishuran, both of them were engaged in the same occupation, as you all know, because of the intention or the thought, what he had in his mind to help others. People used to go to Yenadinadar only to get the training. Most of them would like to go because the way he gets a rapport, or how he behaves with the students, and how well he teaches them with great patience. That is his mindset. And also he was born to do that kind of a karma. Naturally, Adishura students' numbers started dwindling. Everyone preferred to go to Yenadinadar. That is the gift of God. What we call the Daiva Kataksham. The divine grace was on him. So everyone gathered, or everyone wanted to go and learn from Yenadinadar only. So naturally, the number of students going to the Atishura started dwindling. This one little point is enough to trigger the asuya, or the jealousy. Even though he was a man, generally we will say that only the women will always have the kind of jealousy, and they will try to trigger things inside the family. But here, the man also got this jealousy, and he was driven by this jealousy, and he already had that pride puffing up in his head, added to that jealousy now. So one day he came over, and Yenadinadar is very quiet, patient, and dharmic in his thoughts. So suddenly one day he appeared at the door of Yenadinadar and then called him. I want to prove to this world who is really skillful in training and fighting. So I want you to come out of your house right away, and in front of everyone we need to do the fight, and then prove to them that who is the most strongest or the capable person to train the people of the soldiers of the army, and also who can fight with might. So Yenadinadar had to come out of his house and take the challenge. And he took the challenge. Of course, there became a big warfare, or a big yuddha. The battle took place on either side, and of course Yenadinadar disciples, the students, they all come to support their guru, and they all fought with the followers of Adishura. Of course, there were casualties on both the sides, and many people lost their lives, and many people got mutilated. The body part got mutilated. So it was a frightful scene for the entire area of that thing. And then the last, before Yenadinadar could throw his sword to cut the head of that Adishura, somehow he escaped. And escaped at that time, the sunset also happened. So there is a rule in the warfare, from the sunrise to sunset only they can fight. After that, everyone should stop with their fight and go back to their camps and clean up, and all the Kshatriyas do their Sayam Sandhya. So they have to perform their evening duties and rest and prepare the weapons for the next day war, like that. It is always, that's a niyama, or the rule should be followed in the warfare. So when he escaped, the sunset also happened. So Yenadinadar did not want to continue the war, because his escape, he didn't want to go in search of him to kill him or anything. So this Adishura escaped somewhere, but his pride, the proud ahamkara laden soul could not sleep. Somehow he wanted to get rid of this Yenadinadar from his life, so that he can gain popularity, he can gain prosperity, and he can give a happy life. He can lead a happy life. That was his thought. So when you are instigated by both asuya, jealousy, and also pride, people can go to any extent to get rid of the other good person from the world. So that happened in the case of Adisura. He knew that he could not go and fight with Enadinadar in a direct way. Opposite to each other means he will be the winner. He knew the strength of Enadinadar. So what he did, he wanted to get rid of him in the deceitful manner. Vanchakam, cheating. That's the only weapon a coward could use it in front of the great devotee. So the after a couple of days, he sent his servant or the soldier who was getting trained under him to go and talk to Enadinadar. And he went and offered his namaskara to him, and then he said, our Adisura wanted to fight with you all by yourself, because he feels very sad that when you both fight, all your students and descendants and the village people, everybody join hands to help each other. Finally, their casualties are more, and he feels sorry for their unnecessary death of many people on both the sides. So he wanted to fight with you all by yourself. That is the only thing. That's the only request he wants. He doesn't want to lose any more life in both the sides. So would you please agree to this challenge or request? Then that soldier was given the reply. Enadinadar thought for a while, and then he thought, what he says is correct. Even I don't want to lose many of my students' life or my relatives or my friends' life, which is very precious, because we know how to destroy only. We don't know how to create a life, and we don't have that capacity at all. So why should we involve people, the unnecessary innocent people, to get their lives lost? He agreed to the challenge, saying that I will come all by myself to face him. So Enadinadar also went very prepared with his shield and the sword and other weapons, and then he did not inform anyone in the village or any of his students saying that he is going to meet Adisura. Otherwise, they would have been given a clue that the teacher is going all by himself. Somehow they would have, without his knowledge at least, they would have come and protected him. But always Bhagavan Lord Shiva has his own way of doing things. So he went all by himself to the place which was mentioned by Adisura. He did not choose the place. The opponent chose the place of fight. And having known Enadinadar always respects the Shiva devotees who always come with their vibhuti on their forehead, Adisura decorated himself with vibhuti on his forehead and all over his body. But inside his heart was that deceitful nature hiding with no one's knew. And then he also said, today I am going to get rid of this Enadinadar from my life. This is how deceitfully only I can win over. So Adisura was expecting the sole arrival of Enadinadar. He also came, and then the moment they came face to face, Adisura, who was hiding his face with a shield till then, suddenly removed it and showed his face. And Enadinadar was shocked to see that he has come with full vibhuti. He treated him as the best devotee of Lord Shiva. And then he said, when you have come in this Vesham or your decoration with the vibhuti, I don't want to kill you. I don't want to go even to fight with you. So that was the good chance, he said. And also he thought, if I drop all my weapons, people will think that when that Adisura killed Enadinadar when he was completely not possessing any weapon, what we call Nirayudha Pani. When there is no Ayudha in his hands, Adisura killed Enadinadar, who was a coward. Adisura is a coward, that's why he could not win. So even that bad name he should not get, because he has come with the Vibhuti. That was the respect he gave to the Lord Shiva's devotee. And then, then he said, if I happen to kill this the Shiva devotee, I will incur sin. And I will present myself with my own weapons so that people will not talk ill about Adisura. So he said, I am ready. I am offering myself as your enemy. So whatever you want, you can do. So he took his shield and the sword and then approached him. And then that Adisura performed the sinful deed of cutting or killing Enadinadar. Then the body was destroyed, but the pure soul, that reached the Shiva's abode. He gave his life for the Vibhuti owned by his own opponent, and he knew that he is going to kill him, and he approached him with the shield and the sword so that he will not, Adisura, the opponent, deceitful opponent will not get a bad name. So this Adisura thought that he has won this battle and he is going to become very powerful. But Enadinada's bhakti, or the devotion, and spread everywhere, that he got killed purposely because Adisura wore the Vibhuti, what we call Tiriniru on his forehead. That is how Enadinadar offered himself to for his life itself, for just seeing the Vibhuti on the head of his own opponent Adisura. So that's how he became very famous, that he gave his life, Enadinadar gave his life for the Vibhuti applied by his own enemy. So that's how, and Shiva appreciated his devotion and took his soul to his abode, and Adisura, short living happiness, temporary happiness. He thought he has won Enadinadar, but things followed in a different fashion for him. But the great devotee attained his moksha, salvation. That is why Sundaramurti sings, Yenadi Nadandra Adiyarkum Adiyen. This is one of the Nayanars in the 63 devotees, best devotees of Lord Shiva. So people have lived in our own southern part of India to give their lives just for the sake of Vibhuti, applied on the forehead and pretended to be a Shiva devotee, but he is an enemy, and he asked him to come allow alone to take the life. They agreed to that. And the moment he showed his Vibhuti, he completely surrendered to that. So such nobility was shown to us, that we have to take these life stories, how noble they were, and they believed people, and the devotion to Shiva means which cannot be with what we call immeasurable. So Enadinadar அடியார்க்கும் அடியேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.